there are 5 theorems or formulas related to triangles. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can decide which one to use and how to use. Each theorem or formula can be divided into 2 categories according to their application. For right-angled triangles, we normally use Pythagoras theorem or trig ratios. For general triangles, we use sine rule, cosine rule, and the formula of area. Just be aware, right-angled triangles are special cases of general triangles. For this reason, sine rule, cosine rule, and the formula of area can all be applied to right-angled triangles. We can actually prove this, and you may be asked to do so if you carry on doing A-level maths. However, here we are not going to prove it. We just need to know how to apply them. First, let's look at right-angled triangles. Here is our Pythagoras theorem. This theorem tells us the relationship between 3 sides of a right-angled triangle. That means whenever you can form a relationship between the 3 sides in a right-angled triangle, then you should consider to use Pythagoras theorem to solve the problem. For trig ratios, these 3 are the ones we are required to master for GCSE or IGCSE. For each of them, it describes a relationship between one angle and 2 sides. That means whenever you can form a relationship between one angle and 2 sides in a right-angled triangle, you should consider to use trig ratios to solve the problem. Now let's look at general triangles. This is our sine rule. We can rewrite it this way. From these 3 equations, we can tell each one of them is describing a relationship between 2 sides and 2 corresponding angles. It's important to be aware the angles and the sides must correspond to each other. That means whenever you can form a relationship between 2 angles and 2 sides, then you can consider to use sine rule to solve the problem. Now let's look at cosine rule. We can actually write 2 more equations for cosine rule, but generally they are the same. From each of the equations, we can tell cosine rule is actually describing a relationship between 3 sides and 1 angle. That means whenever you can form a relationship between 3 sides and 1 angle in a general triangle, you should consider to use cosine rule. Now let's look at the last one, the formula of area. Similarly, we can write 2 more equations like this. Again, they are generally the same. When we look at this equation, we can tell the area of formula is actually tell a relationship between the area of a general triangle and 2 sides and 1 angle. That means whenever you can form a relationship between the area of a general triangle and its 2 sides and the angle between the 2 sides, then you should consider to use the formula of area to solve the problem. This is a summary of what I have just said. Now let's look at some questions together to apply what I just said. Here is our first question. This is a right-angled triangle. That means we can use Pythagoras theorem or trig ratios. Then let's keep looking. We know one side, we know another side, we need to find the third side. That means we can form a relationship between the three sides. And that means we need to use Pythagoras theorem. Then we are going to write down a relationship using Pythagoras theorem. So 8.5 squared hypotenuse squared equals 4 squared plus x squared. So after writing down this equation, then you can solve it. So x squared equals this one, take away this one. Then x equals this one. We just following it, solve the equation. Then here we can use calculator, work out this one. And if you have a calculator with you, you can do the calculation. And I did it myself here, then the answer is 7.5. And don't forget to put your units here. So this is your final answer, and you can write your answer here. Let's look at another question. In this question, this is also a right-angled triangle. That means we can use Pythagoras theorem or trig ratios. So let's keep looking what we know, what we don't know, what we need to know. So we know one side, we know another side, and we need to find one angle. So here we can form a relationship between two sides and one angle. That means we need to use trig ratios to solve this problem. The angle, so this is opposite, this is adjacent side. This is a relationship of TOA. Now we can use trig ratio TOA to write down an equation like this. 10x equals TOA. So I can write down this to remind myself. Opposite is 15 and adjacent is 11. We know the 10 value and we need to find x, so we need to do the inverse. 10 equals arctan 15 divided by 11. And then now you can use your calculator to work out this one. So after using my calculator, and my answer is 53.7 degrees. And then we can write down my answer here. So this is the answer. Then let's keep looking. So ABC is a triangle. So here triangle, we know one side, another side, we know one angle, and we are asked to calculate angle BAC. Angle BAC is here. This one is what we need to know. This is a general triangle, so we can probably use sine rule, cosine rule, or the formula of area. But let's look at what we know here. We know one side, we know another side, and we know one angle. We need to find this angle. So we probably be able to form a relationship between two sides and two angles. That means we might be able to use sine rule. But in sine rule, the sides and angles must correspond to each other. So let's have a look. This angle and this side, it corresponds to this angle and this side correspond to each other. And this angle and this angle and this side doesn't correspond to each other. So we can't use sine rule directly. But what about we use sine rule to find this angle first? If we find this angle and we know this angle, and then we can find this angle, right? So let's do it. So first, we use sine rule to work out angle BCE. So now I'm going to write down the equation using sine rule. AC divided by sine B equals AB divided by sine angle C. I like to write down like this to help me to look at clearly so I don't get lost in the middle of my working. Then I substitute the numbers here. So 18 divided by sine 70 degree equals 15 divided by sine C. So sine C equals 15 sine 70 divided by 18. Now I can use calculator to work out this one. If you have a calculator with you, you can have a try. My calculator tells me this is 0.78. The question asks you to correct to one decimal place. So I suggest, so in the middle of my working, I use 2 decimal places. Then C equals and then use calculator again. So this is 51.3 degree. Don't forget, we are not asked to find C, we are actually asked to find A. We know the sum of the interior angles in a triangle is 180. Angle A equals 180, take away 70, then take away this one, and then equals, use the calculator, it's 58.7 degree. And then this is the answer. So you can write the answer here, 58.7 degree. Let's have a look at another question. Here is a triangle ABC. Angle ABC is here. We need to find this one. So let's look what we know in the question. We know one side, we know another side, and we know another side. Look, we know 3 sides and we need to find an angle. That means we can form a relationship between one angle and 3 sides. When I said this, does anything pop up in your mind now? A relationship between 3 sides and one angle. That's cosine rule. So cosine rule, I can write down a relationship first. AC squared equals AB squared plus BC squared. Then take away 2 times AB times BC times cosine B. Then we make cosine B the subject of this equation. So will be AB squared plus BC squared, take away AC squared, and then divide 2 times AB times AC. Then now I'm going to substitute the numbers into my equation. I know most people would start working from here, but I would start from the beginning because I only remember one formula, and then the rest thing, no matter what they asked for, then I just change the subject of this formula. So let's carry on and substitute numbers into it. 10 plus 5 squared, take away 5 root 7, squared, and then 2 times 10 times 5. Then you calculate it. Use calculator, and then we have 100, take add 25, use calculator is 175. We simplify further, and then we can get minus 0.5. So we know cosine B is this one, and so B is arc cosine minus 0.5, and then use your calculator to get your answer 120 degrees. So this is our answer, and then you can write down the answer here. So we have another question to check. The area of the triangle is 70. Work out x. So we know the area, okay? We know the area of this triangle is 70, and we know one side, we know another side, and we need to find one angle. In this general triangle, this is a relationship between area, two sides, and the angle in between. How convenient it is. So obviously we are going to use the formula of area. The formula of area is written like this. Just be aware the angle in this formula is the one between the two sides. And this angle is happen to be, and then we substitute the value into this formula to form an equation. Times 11 times 16 sine C. So we can do a little bit simplifying. 88 sine C. So sine C, solve this equation, is 70 divided by 88. So angle C is arc sine and now you can use calculator, and my answer is 52.7. If you have a calculator with you, you can do the calculation too, and this is the answer. I hope you found this video useful. If you like my video, please give me a thumb up to let me know, or share it to let your friends know, or subscribe so you don't miss my future videos. You can also leave a comment for any ideas. I'm looking forward to see you in my next video.